We're 3 to 4 weeks away from harvesting our maize. Crops look fairly good this year. Growth filling them, we've got good height, we've got plenty of green. We have a little bit of wind damage due to the weather that we've been getting lately, so I reckon we're roughly 3 to 4 weeks away. Now these plants are a bit immature, but I'm only showing you as a demonstration of what I will be looking for in a cob to see when we're going to harvest it. So what I do is I strip the cob down to the last sheet that's on it, and I look for a nice, you can see the last sheet that we're pulling down here. What I do is I look for a nice white kind of a colour. Now it's a lot more opaque, but it'll start to go whiter and whiter, more paper-like in time. And we know when we get that more kind of paper-like, we're getting very close to cutting. Now cobs on this particular variety are quite small, but what I'll do is I'll check for hardness in the grain, and they feel rather hard now on the finger. There's good fill here. It's not fully, this cob is not particularly filled to the last, but there is good fill in general. And then what I do is I grab a knife and I run my blade down about 2/3 of the way inside the grain. And what I'll do is I feel it with my thumb here, and if I feel a lot of moisture, still quite a lot of wet in that, you know she's not ready. When that's very dry down there, your grain will have come to a stage where the ripeness will be good. And then when you're actually harvesting the plant as well, you want to take a plant and you'll cut it down around where cutting height will be, let's say, so around here. And you cut it down in the middle, and you'll feel the moisture in the softness of the stem, of which there's a lot here, but when that feels good and dry, you know that the dry matter of the plant will be increasing. You'll have a little bit of natural senescence at the top of the plant. I don't want the plant leaves dying off as per se, but a little bit of natural senescence at the top is good. And you know the plant in itself will be quite dry, because the main aim we're trying to get to is 30% dry matter plus. So we want to harvest the plant where it still has plenty of green, a little bit of natural senescence, but not too much. The idea of holding the green in and having the cob at the right stage is where you get the maximum nutrient value out of the plant. If all the leaves are gone off with complete senescence, you've lost a lot of your energy. You're relying totally on the grain as an energy source for your silage. So I want good green in it, but a little bit of natural senescence. Now, when you harvest this and to preserve this, in my eyes, it's not an option, but you have to put an additive on. For two reasons. You want to ferment as quickly as possible to keep what quality you have in the field in the pit. Secondly, you want the lactic acid levels to build up as much as possible so that you get stability in terms of feed out. And it's all about feeding your maize where there's no yeasts or molds growing on the pit. And then when you chop up the maize through the harvester, you want a nice chop, nothing too fine. Roughly about 5 to 7, let's say around 5 centimeters long. Putting an additive on this, you see, we'll have a certain level of disease on maize plants. Nothing huge or to any great extent, but you want to ferment it properly so that you get the lactic acid inside the pit as it's fermenting. Those lactic acid levels will give you good stabilisation and bring your pH hopefully down below 4. If you achieve that, then on feed out, the pit face generally won't heat on you, and that'll give you more stability in the trough so that food doesn't go off while in front of cattle when you're feeding it. So with the Platinum Magniva, you have two particular bugs. You got Lactobacillus buchneri and you've got Lactobacillus hilgardi, both of which are very good additives, very good bacteria for fermenting a pit that produces the likes of propylene glycol and give extraordinarily stable pit faces so that you have minimised heating and you get great results in feed out where the feed lasts as long as possible when in the trough. The other advantage of our new bacterial product Hilgardi is that after the crop is harvested, you can open the pit after 15 days of fermentation only, which is a big advantage, especially as we get on in the year and you probably have cattle housed and you require to feed as soon as possible to feed to cows or beef cattle. So if you're looking for Magniva Platinum, just call Specialist Nutrition.